Good morning, esteemed guests, respected dignitaries, scientists, faculty, students, staff, ladies, and gentlemen. A warm welcome to the valedictory function of the training program on genome editing for crop improvement, strategies, and applications. This training has been a collaborative effort organized by ICR, National Institute for Plant Biotechnology, and Division of Plant Physiology, Indian Agricultural Research Institute, New Delhi. It has been generously sponsored by NAHEP, Center for Advanced Agricultural Science and Technology, CAST. So, to begin the program, I would like to request all the dignitaries, please grace the dais. To signify the auspicious beginning of our valedictory function, we'll now have the lamp lighting ceremony. For this, I request all the dignitaries to kindly do the honor. Sir. To signify the auspicious beginning of our valedictory function, we'll now have the lamp lighting ceremony. For this, I request all the dignitaries kindly do the honors. Thank you for marking the auspicious beginning of this event. NIPB is dedicated to advancing agricultural science and technology through a variety of training programs conducted throughout the year. The current training program on genome editing for crop improvement strategies and application is one of the prime example. So moving on, I would like to request course director and director NIPB, Dr. R.C. Bhattacharya sir, to welcome our chief guest, Dr. Trilochan Mahapatra sir, chairman PPV FRA and former secretary DARE and DG ICR with bouquet of flowers. Again, I request Dr. Bhattacharya sir to welcome the valedictory speaker, Honorable Dr. K.C. Bansal sir, former director, National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources, New Delhi. Next, I would like to request course director and joint director ICR IARI New Delhi, Dr. Vishwanathan sir, to welcome Dr. Anuradha Agrawal ma'am, National Coordinator of Center for Advanced Agricultural Science and Technology, CAST NAHEP. ठीक है sir. And I request Director NIPB to, sir, वो मना करती है. I request Director NIPB to welcome the Vishwanathan sir, Director and Joint Director of ICR IARI. We are truly honored to have you all with us today on this special occasion. Moving on, to officially start today's proceeding, I am honored to invite Dr. R.C. Bhattacharya sir, Course Director and Director ICR and IPB New Delhi, to deliver the welcome address.
Chief guest of today's function, Dr. Trilochan Mahapatra, Chairman PPVFRA, former Secretary DARE and DG ICR. Guest of honor, Dr. Anuradha Agarwalji, National Coordinator, Caste and Component 2, NAHEP program. Today's special valedictory speaker, Dr. K.C. Bansalji, former Director NBPGR and former professor of this institute. My beloved colleague, Dr. Viswanathan, Course Director and Joint Director Research, IARI. Coordinator, Dr. Anil, Dr. Pranjal. Co-coordinators, Dr. Sandhya, Dr. Ansul, Dr. Archana, Dr. Sivani, Dr. Soham, my esteemed colleagues who could make it convenient to attend this today's function, research fellows, students, my dear trainees, and all other members of NIPB who directly or indirectly have been involved in successful execution of this training program. It is a proud privilege for me to stand before you and extend you a very warm welcome on behalf of the organizing committee of this training program and also on behalf of this institute which has hosted this training program. Before I say a few more words, at the onset, I take the opportunity of this occasion to profoundly recall the great contributions of several stalwarts and visionaries who have been founder members of these institutes, like late Padma Bhushan Professor V.L. Chopra, Professor R.P. Sharma, and many more, who not only laid the foundation of this institute, but developed this institute brick by brick by their relentless and dedicated contribution, and because of which this institute has come up as a national lead center of plant biotechnology research. I pay my heartfelt gratitude to them on behalf of this institute. Continuing to its legacy in initiating plant biotechnology research and training human resources, the institute has not only raised the critical mass of trained human resources for widespread adoption of biotechnological research in agriculture, but also had nurtured and brought up several outstanding scientists and scientific leaders in the National Agricultural Research Institute. And I am very fortunate that some of them still continue to bless this institute and guide this institute for more and more productivity to do its duty at the national level. Continuing to this mandate, this training program is one more step, and profuse thanks to NAHEP program, which has extended this training opportunity to the PG students who are no less but the future generation and future researcher of this country. And certainly, we hope that this training will play a significant role in their career when they come up as the national leader to lead the scientific research of this country. Dear trainees, I am sure that after these 12 days of your engagement in pure scientific deliberations and hands-on practical experiences, you feel much enriched and confident in the subject area. Success in your future endeavor will be the testimony of our efforts to train you in the subject area, and we will always be eager to look forward for that. This occasion is also very special to us because during such training program, we celebrate the teachership. We celebrate the teachership through inviting and listening to many of the finest teachers throughout the country. And I remember in this training, Also, some of the lectures were so interesting and engrossing that not only the research fellows of this institute, but also many of our scientists were continuously sitting in this hall, deferring their day's work, for which they had to give extra time during the evening to complete the official work. I remember the lecture by Dr. Viswanathan, Dr. Kutub, Dr. Firoj, and many more. Maybe I fall short if I try to take everybody's name. In just 1 hour, you get an opportunity to refresh your concept, your understanding of the area in a very nutshell form. This is indeed a very, very unique opportunity which comes to all of us whenever we organize such kind of training. The valedictory function is particularly remain very special to us. We are fortunate to have two outstanding teachers who have been in this center and raised the name of this center at the national level. I still fondly recall attending the classes of Dr. Mahapatra, which will always overflow beyond the capacity of the classroom, and students, research fellows who are coming late, they will be running for getting a chair here and there and somehow join this stream. I also remember the elegance of delivery of Professor Bansal, which always helped us to understand the subject to the core of our heart, which remain probably till we die. Sir, each one of you remain our role model for many of us who feels excellence in teaching is the most sought after quality of an academician. And I remain immensely thankful that you could find time to grace this important occasion. So, without extending, in fact, if when I try to speak, many things comes, and probably the time will not permit, because we have many items in this valedictory program which has to be completed within stipulated time. So I limit my thoughts, I limit my retrospection, not to speak here, but once again, I warmly welcome all of you in this valedictory function, and then look forward for the subsequent proceeding of today's program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the warm welcome and insightful word. So let's proceed. To give us an overview of the training program and its objective, I would like to invite Dr. Anil Kumar Singh, sir, course coordinator and principal scientist ICR and IPB, to present the coordinator's report.
Honorable Chief Guest of today's function, Dr. T. Mahapatra sir, uh, Chairman PPBFRA and former Director General ICR and Secretary there, valedictory speaker Professor Tracy Bansal, former Director NBPGR, Dr. Anuradha Agarwal ma'am, close coordinator, NAHEP coordinator, uh, Dr. Vishwanathan, JDR and close director of this training program, Dr. R.C. Bhattacharya sir, director of NIPB and close director, and my fellow coordinators and co-coordinators, my senior colleagues from institute, other staff, and most importantly, trainees of this training. It is my proud privilege to present coordinators report. So in this, I'll cover briefly what we have done in the last 10 days. Sir, this training program has been organized. Sir, there is a brief presentation at the back. So this training program is organized jointly by NIPB and Division of Plant Physiology IARI from July 1 to 12. Yeah. And sir, we received 950 applications for this training, and out of which we could select 35 applicants. And those who could not be selected, we sent online link to all of them. But to our surprise, 1142 online registrations were received. And we have also broadcasted this training program live through YouTube. And the trainees which were selected were mostly, you can see, the approximately 2/3 are represented by female candidates, and only one-third by male candidates. And the trainees represent 21 states of India. The inaugural function was held at July 1, and the program was inaugurated by Honorable DDG Crop Science Dr. T.R. Sharma sir and guest of honor Dr. R.C. Agarwal sir in presence of Dr. Vishwanathan, course director, and Dr. R.C. Bhattacharya. He's also course coordinator for this training. The lectures were delivered by many NIPB and IRI faculties, including Dr. Vishwanathan, Dr. R.C. Bhattacharya, Professor Antre Sen, Dr. Kishore Zaitwar, Dr. Jain, Dr. Patnaik sir, Dr. Jasdeep ma'am, Dr. Anirban, then Soham and Pranjal on various topics. Uh, the lectures were also delivered by Dr. Pranam Mandal, Dr. Firoz Hussain presented yesterday, and Dr. Kutub from NRRI, and Dr. Santosh from Division of Plant Physiology. And in addition, some guest lectures were also held by external faculties. Professor Ashwini Parith visited NIPB and delivered his lecture. Dr. Alok Sinha, Dr. Naveen Best, Dr. M.C. Reddy, and Dr. Vibha Ahuja. Dr. Vibha Ahuja delivered lecture on IPR and biosafety related issues of genome-edited plants. And sir, in addition, we also had 3 international faculties. Dr. Madhusudan Janra is Director of Plant Transformation Facility in Texas Tech University. He delivered his lecture online. Dr. Ritesh Kumar, who has done postdocs in University of Missouri and University of Minnesota and now working as a scientist in ball horticulture. He has delivered his lecture on soybean quality improvement. And Dr. Rahul, who is a research professor in Korea, he has delivered his lecture on Cas variants and their use in bacterial and plant genome editing. Then, sir, these were the practical sessions. I'm happy to inform that there were almost 50-50% ratio of lectures and practical sessions. There were practical sessions starting from very basics to the advanced techniques, very basic like DNA and RNA isolation, bacterial culture, transformation, PCR, and advanced like ZRNA designing, mutant analysis, off-target analysis, etc. Then practical sessions were conducted by mostly NIPB and IRI Division of Plant Physiology faculties. They interacted with the students, and these are some glimpses of laboratory experiments. And we also had, sir, one exercise where trainees formulated the projects and presented before the expert committee. Our experts, Dr. Subodh and Dr. Monica ma'am, they have evaluated the proposals and gave very important suggestions for improvement. Trainees were also taken to Phenomics facility at Division of Plant Physiology, IRI. And they also visited NAS Museum yesterday. And they also had some fun time. On weekend they visited Qutub Minar and India Gate and Akshardham also, but I could not find the pictures of Akshardham visit. And today morning, sir, valedictory lecture was delivered by none other than Professor Tracy Bansal, sir. Thank you, sir. So with this, I thank everyone and I wish all the best to all the trainees. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the comprehensive overview. So this was the one side of training story, and we know it's incomplete without hearing from the another side. So I would like to request some of the participants to share their valuable thoughts and experiences about the training.
A very good morning to friends and our dignitaries on dais. Our chief guest Mahapatra sir, former director of NBBHR Dr. Bansal sir, Vishwanathan sir, and former director of NIPV Bhattacharya sir and Anuradha ma'am. Sorry. Sorry. Extremely sorry. Yeah, it's okay. It's like being among the galaxy. It's appear in the galactical journey, in presence of so many luminaries during of this facilitation program. We feel blessed in the company of so big luminaries of biotechnology, ICR as well whole. I, Neha Rathod, PhD scholar, Jivaji University, Gwalior. I would like to thank on behalf of my colleagues to this training program organized by National Institute of Plant Biotechnology and Division of Physiology jointly and sponsored by NAHEP, which is an ongoing activities, highly prestigious and nicely organized and funded and facilitated program over all this ICR system. We all feel pleased, highly blessed that out of huge number of applicants reportedly, around more than 900 applicants, I was at least pleased expecting the pleased to have been selected. First, virtually jumping with a joy when I seen my name on the list of such a prestigious training program. I feel highly obliged be selected to wish thank to organize of these events. Especially thanks to Anil sir. It has been truly wonderful, remarkable experience for last 12 days, going from the 1st July until today, 12th July. Every day, the day of recurring in terms of learning, in terms of interaction, in terms of meeting the highly renowned scientists all across the nation and abroad. We could hardly imagine to see from the highest authority of IRI system. It was unforgettable opportunity for the learning, also the interaction, in terms of the getting motivated whole across every day. Of learning activities, interaction throughout a day, along with the theory and practical demonstration. Any event we can understand that required lots of effort and months of time and preparation, and of course it can be translated with year or decades of hard work. A scientist who come to deliver so many beautiful lecture, I also would on behalf of my participant to place of record our indebtedness, our thankfulness, our happiness, and our joy, and indeed these feathers of career of participant to have got this training. Cutting edge technologies in the subject of domain. The subject on genome editing for the crop improvement is one of the latest technology in which many even biotechnologists are not aware of this. It was rare opportunities to learn the techniques which will be go possibly very long way in the country for helping not only the technology but the adapters of the technology, the farmer, the student, the teachers, and the teaching communities. Whenever the name genome editing will come from the kindly, feel the linked with the subject, connect with the subject academically and emotionally. This is very much useful for us as genome editing research area. I would like to thank Anil sir, Pranjal sir, Ansul sir, Soham sir, Sandhya ma'am, Shivangi ma'am, Archana ma'am, Jasprit ma'am, Kishore sir, Amol sir. There were so many people so actively involved, not only the scientists but all the staff of NIPB and physiology division, technical officer, administration staff, higher authority. They were all the supportive, all in the possible manner. In the short duration of this cooperation, and line was speaking day by day out of activity during this training. Apart from this, I feel personally, hopefully will continue. We attached with the not only this training subject, but the people of division also, the institution also. We as a community of participants do again very forcefully, very affectionated, very obligatory and very humble put all our thanks with a folded hand to have been given this opportunity and get benefit only for period for our life to come. We are again and highly thankful and kindly remember us and blessing. Thank you so much. And it's highly pleasure to me and former director of NBPZR present here because I did my MSc dissertation from NBPZR.
Thank you for sharing your valuable feedback. If any other participants would like to share, one more only.
Don't worry. Good morning, everyone present here, respected dignitaries, and all the gurus present here. I would like to recite lyrics. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Deva Maheshwara. Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Guruve Nama. To all the gurus who are present today, and from day one, they were present there to guide us. So I'd like to thank them all. And there's sort of tradition to touch the feet of those gurus. If I could get the chances, I could have done that also, because they have taught us so well from day one, starting from designing of guide RNA to screening to the experimental design setup to screening the plants, and also the rules and regulations through which these plants are regulated. Those were very exciting. And from the background I have, I belongs to the stakeholder, that is I belongs to the farmer community. My father is a farmer, so it's a great opportunity for me to learn this CRISPR technique and implement this technique in my crop, which is sown in my areas, such as rice and wheats. It's a great pleasure to learn this technique, to implement this technique, to present this crop like father, see, I have prepared a crop that you can sow in the field and you can get benefit from that. That was the plus benefit from me as a personal, and also so much of good friends I have. I have made so much of friends from 21 states. So whenever I plan a vacation, I can go to their places. I can save many monies. It's also a great opportunity for that also. And we have also great opportunity to interact with so much teachers. We have email address, so that if we can get any confusion, if we get any confusion in our experimental setup, any confusion in technicalities, we can ask them. That's all I want to say. And also, if the course coordinator will like to have some feedback, I would like to have a talk on vector designing for multiplex guide RNA. That we think miss here. Yeah, yes, we missed that in here. So we would like if there was a talk on that also, vectors and vector designing. No, sir, we missed that, I think. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your experiences. Your insights truly highlight the impact and significance of the training. Next, I'm privileged to invite Dr. Vishwanathan Sir, Course Director and Joint Director ICR IRI New Delhi, to share his remarks.
Very good morning to all of you. Respected Dr. Mahapatra sir, uh, Chairman, PPFRA, Dr. K.C. Bansal, former Director, NBPGR, Dr. Anuradha Agarwal, the National Coordinator, NAHEP, Dr. Ramcharan Bhattacharya, the Director, NIPP, and Course Director, and course coordinators, Dr. Anil and Dr. Pranjal, and co-coordinators Dr. Shivani, Archana, Anshul, Sandhya, and all the faculties of NIPB and plant physiology, and my dear student trainees and all other staff present here. Very good morning to all of you. So this is indeed a great day. The scientists who matter, who brought these programs, are on the stage. So first of all, I would like to tell you the role played by Dr. Mahapatra sir for bringing up the NAHEP program to the ICAR. Under his leadership, this program was initiated. So otherwise earlier all the programs, they were centered for faculty improvement or research. This program specially brought to the student, and I am sure like all the universities, from any agriculture university student have come, they have benefited either because of the cost or IDP or other program of NAHEP. Sir, we are very thankful to you for bringing up this program. Then if we take the name of genome editing, then also we are highly indebted to you. So when in the country any program on mutant was like originated, this is advanced version of mutation breeding. The earlier mutant, that is conventional mutation program, a very big program of the EMS induced mutant development and their characterization. It was initiated by Dr. Mahapatra sir. I was fortunate to associate with him during that day when we wrote those initial stages of the proposal, and he was like entirely he wrote the proposal, and under the guidance of Dr. R.P. Sarma sir, and that program has resulted in several novel discoveries, including the herbicide tolerant rice that was released by Dr. A.K. Singh sir recently. Sir, again, that was a conventional EMS induced mutagenesis program. When the next generation mutagenesis technique came in, I was regularly, we were discussing with sir, and that time we had no experience in the genome editing. So sir asked us to put a proposal in the NASF as a special this one expression of interest call. So he, even though none of us we had any experience in the genome editing, he had faith in us, and he started the program of genome editing through NASF. Sir, under this program already two lines, the DST line and CKX lines developed, were exempted from the regulation, and they are under field testing. And the line developed in Swarna also, the IBSE of NRRA has approved that line, and this also it will come to RCGM for its approval. So at least three product came from the first project, and sir was also kind enough to extend the program in phase 2, wherein we are working on multiple crops. And the third important project of the ICR, that is the EFC program on genome editing, which is worth 500 crores, 24 crop science institute, 10 horticultural institute, 2 fisheries institute, and besides that the agriculture engineering SMD institute, animal sciences institute. Almost about 50% of the ICR is working on this program. This credit also it goes to Mahapatra sir, as immediately after the regulation was approved on 30th March, in the first week of April, this proposal was submitted for about 1000 crore to the government of India. Finally, the 500 crore was approved. Because of that, many institute now we are doing this program. And the third aspect is regulatory aspect. That also we are grateful to Mahapatra sir and A.K. Singh sir could not come, and they made lot of presentation from PMO to other concerned, and finally the regulation came in. Sir, we are thankful to all of you, and you are very kind enough to inaugurate our first training program in NAHEP, also inaugurated by sir only, and he has almost all the genome editing training he has come either for inauguration or valedictory program. Next, I welcome Bansal sir. Again, he was also involved in the NAHEP project preparation and initial stages bringing this project. He was with the guidance of Mahapatra sir. He was working with him. And again, in genome editing regulation, he played very important role, and in the from the preparation of draft guideline to the preparation of SOPs, he played very important role. Now also daily if you see one or other post from sir on genome editing, so he is very actively promoting this technology. Sir, we are very thankful to you for your support and guidance to this program. I also welcome Dr. Anuradha Agarwal, madam. She is the national coordinator of the NAHEP program, and Dr. Agarwal sir also that day came. He told about NAHEP program. So this is very important program that gave opportunity to the students for training. Sir, under this program in IRI, we carried out three important areas of the implementation of this project. One is the development of facility. So with your guidance, we have established the Discovery Center. Now many students of IRI are using this facility for their thesis work. And we have trained more than 3,000 national students from different universities on various aspects of the genomics. And we sent about 70 students abroad for training, and also 12 faculties were trained abroad. Besides that, once the student get trained to put their knowledge into use, we have funded more than 150 students for their thesis work to carry out some part of the thesis work under this program. So this resulted in a very good outcome that many students now they are working in the area of genomics. So this phase was actually our project was over by 31st December 2023, and Dr. Anuradha madam was kind enough to extend the project with additional funding. Because of that, we are here. So this training was, I think, the most popular one among all the. This is 34th training that we are organizing. So within a half day of the when this training was announced in Twitter, almost I have got 29,000 likes and several requests, personal messages, and because of that, we had large number of participation, and we thought that we will have online version also, and also to have it in the YouTube, so that many students can get benefit. So this training is only the beginning. You all keep in touch with all the faculties, those who have given lectures, and even earlier training groups, they are active. Like we form a WhatsApp group, and this group is always active, and they exchange the ideas and knowledge, and also they uh, communicate with each other. So I request you to continue to communicate with each other. So I welcome Dr. A.K. Singh, our Director IRI. As I told, sir, we are very thankful to you for joining this program. And also for your contribution to the genome editing. We were just recalling the role played by you in bringing out the regulation and the SOP preparation, and bringing out the new ICR EFC project on genome editing, and also all your guidance to us in taking this program forward. I also welcome you, sir. So with this, I really thankful to Dr. Ram and Dr. Anil specifically for taking over most of the loads. Every time he was on mobile phone, he was coordinating with everyone. So because of all the active participation or contribution of the course coordinators and co-coordinators, we could successfully conduct this training program. With this, I request all of you to keep in touch with each other and also with us. If you have any questions at any point of time, you are most welcome. You can call us, and we are ready to clarify any doubts or any questions related to genome editing, or otherwise also any thing related to your thesis problem. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful remarks. So I welcome Dr. A.K. Singh, sir, former director ICR IARI, and I request Director NIPB to welcome the sir. Thank you, sir. So in this chain, We are honored to have Dr. Anuradha Agrawal ma'am, National Coordinator CAST NAHEP, as our guest of honor. So I invite Dr. Agrawal ma'am to share her thoughts with us.
A very good afternoon to all. Most respected dignitaries on the dais, Chief guest of today's function, Dr. T. Mahapatra, Chairman PPVFRA, Valedictory Speaker, Dr. K.C. Bansal, former Director NBPGR, Guest of Honor, Dr. A.K. Singh, former Director IRI, PI of the NAHEP CAAST project at IRI, Dr. Vishwanathan, also Joint Director Research of IRI, Director of NIPB, Dr. R.C. Bhattacharya, Course Coordinator, Dr. A.K. Singh, all co-coordinators, faculty and staff of NIPB and Division of Plant Physiology, IRI, dear trainees, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed very humbling for me to share this dais with this august gathering, whom I have been associated both in my current position as National Coordinator of NAHEP, as well as my previous assignment as a scientist in the National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources. It is also very apt that Dr. Vishwanathan and Dr. Bhattacharya chose to invite today's guests. As he has already mentioned, Dr. Vishwanathan, the NAHEP project became a reality due to the tremendous push and guidance given by Dr. T. Mahapatra in his capacity of the then Secretary DARE and DGICR during his period between 2016 and 22. For the conception of the project, Dr. K.C. Bansal was instrumental, as Dr. Vishwanathan has indicated, and he played a key role during the formulation of the project. So the project was languishing for about 2 to 3 years before it became a reality, and Dr. Bansal was very instrumental in giving it the push, of course, under Dr. Mahapatra's leadership. Dr. A.K. Singh also has a very important role in NAHEP. He is an honorable member of the committee which reviews the projects at the national level. It's called the Agriculture Higher Education Project Committee, the AHEPC. And we are very happy that he has joined us for the program today, in spite of his other commitments. He has been part of monitoring the projects which we do on almost 6 monthly basis. I am sure that Dr. R.C. Agarwal, National Director of the project, gave an overview of NAHEP during his inaugural address. Nonetheless, I would like to touch upon a few aspects about the project. So in 2017, as already mentioned, by the help of all these stalwarts sitting on the dais, the ICR gave the whole agriculture education scene a makeover by launching the project. So it's a Government of India and World Bank joint collaboration of $165 million, which roughly translated to around 1100 crore rupees. And in the past 7 years, NAHEP has been shaking things up, making agriculture education not just about crops and cattle, but also about innovation, creativity, accountability, and transparency. So these are the elements which NAHEP has tried to push in its journey so far. The project has been operative at 62 state agricultural universities in the country. I think you must have been told that so far we have 77 agricultural universities. So direct beneficiaries were 62, but impact has happened in all the 77, and I will tell you how. And the project, there were 3 categories of project which were awarded. One was the institutional development projects, which were given to about 22 agriculture universities. The CAST project, the current one where you're having the training program, was given to 16 agriculture universities. And there were about 22 universities in the innovation grant. Further, 2 ICR institutes, ISRI and NAM, were also associated in the project. So the institutional development grants were targeted to undergraduate students and was meant for quality enhancement, thrust on business entrepreneurship, employability, internal revenue generation, and so forth, and especially for undergraduate students. The innovation grants were targeted for those universities which required accreditation, so infrastructural support to get accreditation from ICR. The CAST was particularly targeted towards postgraduate students and meant for scientific entrepreneurship, employability, and research effectiveness. And under CAST, we had 16 sub-projects, as I mentioned, which was spread across 11 states in the country. And the major activities undertaken by the AUs in the CAST included strengthening of teaching and research infrastructure, distinguished lecture series, special lectures, training programs, workshops like the current one, and as already mentioned by Dr. Vishwanathan, national and international training for students and faculty. Also a push was given for collaboration with private sector to the specialized areas to develop market-oriented programs. So I understand under CAST, we have sent a total of 565 students abroad, almost equal ratio of girls and boys, and 152 faculties who have completed international trainings. And more than 3,500 students have benefited from the national level trainings and seminars. Development of climate smart agriculture tools, innovative secondary agricultural technologies, and establishment of innovative research labs are some of the out-of-box initiatives undertaken by CAST. And more than 2.4 lakh direct beneficiaries have taken advantage of the CAST program. So in general, NAHEP has addressed many critical areas, from policy making to quality checks to revamping curricula and boosting faculty skills. It aimed to achieve multiple objectives like student learning outcomes, empowering faculty research, and digitizing academic ecosystem. We have rolled out national and international training programs, guest lectures, cutting edge infrastructure, and this in spite of the fact that the project was hampered for 2.5 years by the COVID lockdown, breakdown, or whatever we would like to call it, disruption. In fact, it was the COVID disruption which also triggered adoption of digital technology in education in a large way. So we started a new initiative. Almost 10% of our project money has gone to develop the resilient agricultural education system, the RAIS we call it, under ISRI, where infrastructure, content, and capacity was strengthened for digital teaching and learning systems, including full online and hybrid mode learning. So maybe some of you have heard about the blended learning platform. Has anybody heard over here? Yes, the faculty will know. I'm asking the students who have come from various universities. No. So this is a platform that has been developed especially for agricultural education, where you can go online and take online content, both static content and live content. That means videos of classes. So about a large number of about 150 UG courses and about 80 PG courses have been recorded, put online on a channel called the Agri Diksha channel. Please look it up once you go back, and you can get a lot of rich content related to various subjects of agriculture. So the whole project has had a 360-degree approach towards agriculture education, and the impact has been tremendous. So we have more than 5.5 lakh direct beneficiaries. So teachers, students who have directly benefit from the project. And it has generally impacted the outcome of agriculture universities. So analysis by our project and monitoring evaluation team has shown that our graduation rates have increased from a mere 77% at the start of the project to now 95.7%. So that is a very big impact because of the changes we have brought about in the whole agriculture education ecosystem. Similarly, job placements, which is the most important thing for graduates, has jumped from 41.9% at the beginning of the project to currently 61%. And similarly, revenue generation has also doubled since the start of the project. And the H index, which all of us are familiar with, which measures research effectiveness, has increased from 24.1 to 31.1. So it proves some serious brain power is at work. So students and faculty have visited 39 countries, and many industry sponsored projects have increased in most of the agriculture universities. Many students have become entrepreneurs. How many of you are aspiring to become entrepreneurs over here? That's great. That has been one of the major targets of NAHEP, is to convert students from job seekers to job providers. So I wish you best of luck of those who are planning to become entrepreneurs, and I will motivate others to think on those lines. And you know, the entrepreneurship has been in a wide and varied areas, right from agri-clinics to organic manuring to marketing agri-products to gardening solutions, seed business, export-import, dietetics and nutrition, protected cultivation, pig farming. So the opportunities are endless. And most importantly, the project has given a great push to digital ecosystem of the country, agriculture universities. So we now have virtual classrooms in all the 77 agriculture universities. And I mentioned the Agri-Diksha platform. It has many functionalities and students can really gain, and it's freely available. There is no payment and there is no restriction. We have also introduced augmented reality and virtual reality through providing the infrastructure and the modules to enhance the learning experience of students. Any student has seen the VR module in their universities? None. How many from agriculture university over here? A large number. So when you go back, please ask your faculty to show you VR sets and the modules in that. So it's the next generation mode of learning, gamified learning, which is very attractive to youngsters. So all these changes have been brought about thanks to the vision and leadership of the people sitting on the dais here. And it has been a big game changer. I am very happy that Dr. Vishwanathan followed the request of PIU to ensure gender balance. Although a little imbalance is happening, sir, we have to keep the balance going. More and more women are coming forward. There have been some universities where the women participation has gone up to 90%, whether in training programs or going abroad or any activity that has come under NAHEP. It's a very promising sign, but again, we have to keep the balance going. So let's keep the balance going next training onwards. As far as extension is concerned, Dr. Vishwanathan was kind enough to say that I had any role to play. No, sir, I did not have any role to play. It was purely and simply the output and outcome of this center, CAST Center, IRI, that led it to you being considered for extension. So a big round of applause for Dr. Vishwanathan. I would have loved to see a little more feedback from the students, especially a little bit of critical feedback. So no program is organized perfectly. There's always room for improvement. So a few more critical comments would be welcome. Please fill it in your feedback forms if you're shy to say it on stage, okay? Nobody is going to give you negative marks, but it will be helpful for improving our stature, our quality of training program. And needless to say, IRI has been the lead institute in the country. It has been ranked number one in one of the recent ranking frameworks. And very soon we'll see its number featuring on the global ranking system also. And Dr. A.K. Singh and his team have been making an excellent effort. So NAHEP plus their own initiatives will take them to a global level, and I wish them all the best for that. So feedback is over, and is there any double beneficiary of the project over here? That means who went for any training or program in their university and now are coming here? No. Yes. Did you go abroad? Would you like, I would have liked actually if you would have shared your experience, how it has changed your outlook towards research or whatever you want to pursue in the future. Just very briefly.
Okay, ma'am. Basically, I am coming from Maharashtra, Mahatma Phule Krishi Vidyapit Rahuri. I am the one of the this candidate who going towards Vietnam, Kantho State in Agriculture, Kantho State University. Regardless the country, there is a little bit to change. That is these universities or this state is regarding all is the near to sea. So that's why the all the farming regarding or the problem regarding this the salt tolerance or somewhat that. And after the some COVID, there is a problem regarding to these are shifting towards somewhat from rice to horticulture crop. So regarding that, we get knowledge, and in my project there is also one of the topic that is the abiotic stress tolerance in wheat. So they tackle problem regarding salt tolerance. So that's why I'm also using somewhat training or some useful from this training, 1 month training. And in this training also I'm not doing briefly about genome editing, but after coming here I'm only talking some identification of gene regarding my heat tolerance about in chickpea. But after completing this training, I'm assuming somewhat more about my research work.
Thank you for sharing, and
Thank you, ma'am.
congrats for being a double beneficiary. And
Thank you,
PKV was one of our star performers also.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I am very happy that NAHEP has brought about certain changes in the ecosystem from the plowing field to total cutting edge genome editing. I congratulate the organizers for having such a successful program. Dr. Vishwanathan was not the only one getting requests. Even I was getting many requests for pushing candidates into the training program. Dr. Vishwanathan, we need to hold another one very soon, if time and money will permit. And congratulations to all the coordinators, co-coordinators, faculty who have been associated with the training program for conducting this very successful program. And thank you for giving me an opportunity today.
Thank you, ma'am, for the insightful remarks. There is a request as one of our candidate has to leave early for his train schedule. So I request our honorable chief guest, Dr. T. Mahapatra, sir, to kindly distribute the certificate to Mr. Ashish Chovatia first. Thank you, sir. Now we have our own Dr. A.K. Singh, sir, former director and vice chancellor ICR New Delhi in the house. So I invite sir to share his remarks.
So at the outset, my apology for being late. Respected Dr. Trilochan Mahapatra, Chairperson, Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmers' Rights Authority, Professor K.C. Bansal, former Professor NIPV and former Director NVPGR, my colleague Dr. Viswanathan, Dr. Bhattacharya, Director NIPV, Dr. Anuradha, all the distinguished faculty members and participants. I am thankful to Dr. Bhattacharya for giving me this opportunity to be here with you. And you all have gone through this training program and also hands-on experience related to genome editing in crops. We know the mutations which were described as a sudden, discrete, discontinuous, and heritable change in the genetic material is what is called as mutation. They were discovered spontaneously by Hugo de Vries. Of course, his case was different, but the change that he observed later, the term was coined as mutation. But since then, the dream of any geneticist or plant breeder has been how we can increase the frequency of mutation, because spontaneous mutations are very low in frequency and they are random in nature. So how we can remove randomness and how we can make them more frequent. So the efforts continued in this direction. It was in 1927 and 28, Muller and Stadler. They independently demonstrated using X-ray radiation in Drosophila and maize that it is possible to induce mutation artificially by using radiation and several other sources with a higher frequency. But still the question of randomness remained because you could not direct mutations. So from that point onward, 27, 28 onward, the major focus has been how we can have site-directed mutagenesis, right? And this site-directed mutagenesis came true with the discovery of genome editing in crops by these two brilliant ladies. And after that, there has been a lot of progress in this area. Several commercial products have come up in the market, and a number of research programs which are being pursued in different countries, and you must have got a feel of that. As far as ICR and National Agriculture Research System is concerned, Dr. Mahapatra as Director General ICR and Secretary there played a very important role. A high-level committee was constituted by Cabinet Secretary where all the secretaries of the scientific department from DBT, DST, ICR, DARE and Ministry of Agriculture. And this project on genome editing was and is being monitored at the PMO level. And when the guidelines were to be formulated, SOP was to be produced, and the projects were to be framed, Dr. Mahapatra used to have a series of meetings. Also making presentation before the secretary, cabinet secretary, making them convinced about the potential of technology, negotiate for IP, and so on. So I remember in one of the presentation, he spent, almost hours together to demonstrate if we take CRISPR-Cas integration as one side and the target locus which is being modified as a second side in a typical dihybrid ratio, how the segregation would take place at chromosomal level. We prepared quite a few drawing and shared with him. Then he suggested a number of changes so that how we can explain to a layman in a typical dihybrid cross what is the segregation and how the genome edited locus would behave and how we are able to generate plant by selfing which do not carry any foreign DNA, but they carry the change in the gene that we desire. So that was the kind of involvement that he had from beginning. And then of course, Dr. Viswanathan has detailed you about this mega project on genome editing across the crops, across the institution. And this is a great project that is happening. And then also the guidelines for genome editings were developed. The SOP has been there in place now. And with that, the only problem that remains as of now is, the IP. how do we handle the intellectual property rights. So before coming to this meeting, again, I called Dr. Aswani Parikh that we need to have a meeting because there is a committee constituted with Secretary DVT as chair, me and Aswani as member to negotiate 3-4 rounds of meeting we have had, but outcome is not really very encouraging. But this is something that has to be really dealt with if we want to take advantage of this technology, because the first is the research license. In all crops, all institutions, wherever we are working in the country, we don't have research license. So whatever we are doing is illegal, unauthorized from that point of view. Two, when the research license is there, after you come out a product, you have to then negotiate for the commercial licensing for giving this to the farmers. And there are terms and conditions attached by the company. So I think that is one part that needs a major focus. And also, as Dr. Mahapatra has also focused in past, that substantial amount of this grant should go into new innovations, how we can tweak the IP, come out with our own IP, because CRISPR is evolving, newer technologies are coming. We have prime editing, base editing, something else will come. And in that direction, some hardcore research has to be done so that we are not bound by the IP restrictions which are imposed by the inventors. Although there is nothing wrong in negotiating and paying, if there is a money that comes out of it, we should be ready to pay back. But the public institutions, we know the system by which we develop the varieties, we give it to the farmers, and the farmers cultivate. They don't want that it should be heavily charged, and therefore the expectation of greater revenue generations is something that one has to be seen in the crops which are not what is called high value and low volume crops. In crops which are low volume, high volume and low value crops, there to get a lot of revenue is very difficult. In rice, wheat, and those crops is going to be challenging. And therefore, I think negotiation with the owner of technology should be high value, low volume versus low volume, high value crops. And some places we can identify where we can pay the royalty back to them, and some crops which are for larger benefit of the farmers, for food security regions, their negotiations can be done for free of charge commercialization. So I think I have nothing more to add. I wish you all the very best, and you must have had a great experience on knowing the technology and also having hands-on experience. And when you go back, you will practice, at least you will start teaching to your students, colleagues, so that people are aware about this technology. So thank you all once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful words. Next, I invite none other than our valedictory speaker, Dr. K.C. Bansal, sir, former Director, ICR, NBPGR, New Delhi, to share his remark with us.
Well, friends, good afternoon. Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Talochan Mahapatra, the chairperson of PPUFRA and the former DG-ICR Secretary there. Dr. Ashok Singh, the former Director and Vice Chancellor of this great premier institution, IRI. The force behind this particular training course, Dr. Vishwanathan, a noted plant physiologist and Joint Director Research of IRI. Dr. Anuradha Agarwal, the coordinator of NAHEP. Dr. R.C. Bhattacharya, a young dynamic director of this institution, the only institution to start with actually in India in '86, NIPB, under the leadership of that time, remembering Professor V.L. Chopra. The senior experts and the faculty members of NIPB and also Division of Plant Physiology. My dear participants who are in 35, now 34 in number, physically, and all those who have joined online, all other staff members, students, ladies and gentlemen. I feel privileged myself to be part of this particular training program, and I thank organizers to give me this opportunity, because I also myself continue learning. I must tell you about this technology because there's so much new things happening. And I see this particular training program to you all students to be also not learning part of it, which of course is very important, also to be making use of it in your career development further, rather from MSc to PhD to a scientist in this area of research and contributing later as a scientist in the development of products which this country needs a lot. So therefore, while I have already given you a lecture on the subject matter, but I would like to, in fact, give some of the thoughts which I was just sitting right here, that what way would you like to now take this kind of a message or training outcome forward for you yourself. With my own experience of conducting many such training programs here at NIEPB and in other institutions, I would like to urge you all that you must think like a scientist. Why I say so? Because many of you have seen, not you personally sitting here, those of you, or even otherwise, that we run after learning techniques. Techniques learning is important, but utilization of those techniques to answer certain fundamental basic questions of science is your job as a scientist. So my first message to all of you is that please think like a scientist. And second, think original. I know very easy, many of us of course have gone through that process of confirmatory kind of research, survival kind of research for getting a degree or a PhD, and all is happening throughout the world, we know it. But when you're talking about a technology like this, which is, I would say, once time in a century technology, you must be thinking differently, you must be thinking original, how you can contribute. Third, you think big. If you start thinking big with kind of a projection that what is your way forward, that you want to develop, take that particular path. And it must be also challenging at the same time. Subject yourself to a big challenge, to a kind of a pressure as a scientist that this is the job, I only can do it, and I must do it. Of course, it's important, as has been already mentioned, in a networking mode. Science like genome editing, even those who got the Nobel Prize, those two women scientists, did not get it with their individual contribution. They both of them came together and published that paper in Science, which was later, identified as the Nobel Prize winning paper, and they got the Nobel Prize. So networking remains very, very important. And since I could see here, I had little interaction with you when I was giving my lecture, I see that there are two different types of trainees. One, those who are representing basic sciences like Delhi University or South Asian University or ICGB or few other universities, traditional universities. On the other hand, we have got students from SAUs. So they have got a different kind of a mandate. Utilizing again the same technology, those of you who are coming from traditional university would like to take up basic work, completely basic new work, as has been mentioned by Dr. A.K. Singh just now, that you develop your own IP. I also reminded you that we have got so much of diversity in our microbial species. Can you identify new, kind of Cas enzymes or genes, which are responsible for doing a better job than what Cas9 is doing? Of course, there's a lot of engineering going on, and one can learn from there. But still, what I'm saying is, therefore, do that basic kind of work. And those even in the plant sciences can do basic science of work to identify new genes, with associated with different traits, kind of functional genomics, using again CRISPR-Cas technology. And those in the agriculture universities can, in fact, while collaborating with them, or even otherwise, can start developing products, focused products, which I was very happy. One of the students, I believe, from which university, who mentioned that his father is growing rice. So you must try to identify, I mentioned to you about enough, develop a product. So that becomes very, very important. So the idea is of you giving this particular training course, devising this training course, you would have realized by now, it's not something, that's easily done. No, a lot of hard work has gone into it, right from generating resources, financial resources, down to the level of planning, putting all these experts from, around the world together, making your life happy and stay here nicely on the campus. And we therefore having a dream to prepare you to deliver something later as you grow in your career development as scientists. That's the objective, and that's what we will be really feeling happy to spending our time right now while speaking to you. We are spending quality time, with you all the trainees. It's not easy, friends, I must tell you, to get the times of those people who are sitting on the dais. I'm a retired person, that's a different thing. But those of them who are there on the dais, they are all very busy, experienced people in their own way, personalities who have come up through a very hard kind of a path. And I would steal away a few more minutes here to express, actually speaking, my own gratitude to some of them here on the dais. To start with, of course, Dr. Bhattacharya, who was a student here, is doing a wonderful job organizing and providing all that facility, whatever is required. Motivating all those scientists and researchers, technicians, supporting staff to involve themselves, as he mentioned in the beginning itself in his welcoming address, is a very important job. And he himself is a trained molecular biologist, no doubt about it. Dr. R.C. Bhattacharya, I'm very happy, that you're continuing with that kind of a legacy of the training workshop, organized here in this center. This is the first center you're sitting with. We started in plant biotechnology in 1986. Of course, Dr. Vishwanathan is a trained plant physiologist, but you also must know Dr. Vishwanathan is the one in the world who discovered the first ABA receptor. Many of those things you will not know, but you must know that he's the one in 2009, published paper in Nature. First ABA receptor were discovered when he was working with Dr. Jiakang Zhu in University of California. So these are, and you heard him, he did not know anything. He himself mentioned about genome editing. So how you have to transform yourself only because you have got something in mind to really deliver at the end of the day. And he's the one, today we're talking about it anywhere, that first variety which is going to be likely released. I'm very optimistic, by the way, apart from all those IP issues. Dr. A.K. Singh is true and very right in his own way, but I'm very hopeful and optimistic that first variety to be released will be his variety, of genome editing in rice. Okay, then coming to Dr. Mahapatra. Dr. Mahapatra actually is my own guru in a way, and Dr. Mahapatra is one, to start with this, the scientific part of it first. When we did not really know about DNA as much, as a student in late 80s or early 90s, he used to be isolating DNA. We did not know any method ourselves. Nobody had gone outside India. He himself also had an opportunity to go outside India and learn, but he would be struggling not only isolating DNA, even hybridizing DNA and DNA. All those technologies he developed himself by working no less than 18 hours a day, sitting on a thermocol bench in a laboratory. I'm just trying to remind you that how much hard work you have to put in as well if you want to really do something. So this is an example. We can always cite and talk about it. And from that DNA isolation to hybridization, he became, a master of developing molecular markers, and then later being the first person to deliver the first molecular breeding variety of rice with Dr. A.K. Singh as one of the breeders. And Dr. A.K. Singh, as a conventional breeder, you would have seen, has done a wonderful job. He's a wonderful teacher, and you would have seen it starting with, he defined you what mutation is so quickly, so easily, so thoroughly. You ask him also what's an allele, he will explain, you will never forget. He did that to me, so I have never forgotten that. So these are some of the teachers who have worked so hard. The mutation he went, and Dr. A.K. Singh has already released first variety through, kind of conventional mutation or I think chemical mutationized material, which has already been developed already as a variety. So these are the stalwarts from whom you must learn, and as students, they worked so very hard right here in this institution, and they are occupying these key positions, and they are giving those products, to the country. That's what our job is. And lastly, I would just like to touch upon a little bit about Dr. Mahapatra's role in bringing this project under which you are all being trained, that is NAHEP, which Dr. Anuradha Agarwal mentioned briefly, that yes, it is Dr. Mahapatra's baby. He is the one who really nurtured it. It was almost getting to be aborted, but it was delivered, a healthy child, a healthy project, and it was all his efforts, really speaking, I must tell you, because I had the pleasure of working with him just before 1 year my retirement, and I could see that how much a leader can show you the path to move ahead. So this particular training program, which is being organized under this project of World Bank, came up only in his tenure, and I re-emphasize this point. It was not easy job, but he accomplished it and we are very thankful to him, and he gave this little task to me as well, and I ever remain indebted to him that I could therefore talk about it, and maybe I'm speaking here as a result of that, as a valedictory speaker as well. So these are some of the, I will kind of things to remember, not only the excellent training you have got on the technical aspects, but otherwise also you have to really see that yes, the world, all the India as a whole, we need a lot of support from you as youngsters. And we at times feel, as Dr. Viswanathan reminded us, more than 1,000 of you if have been trained, and even you have been trained outside India. I think we certainly expect a lot of basic work, applied application of this technology and product development from each one of you. And there are a lot of projects coming up. There are a lot of problems to tackle with, as you mentioned before, and you can deliver a lot. So with this, once again, I thank the organizers, both Dr. Viswanathan and Dr. Bhattacharya, and of course, I must acknowledge the kind of leadership of all the coordinators, the course coordinators. There are so many of them. They're involved with so many programs, and particularly Dr. Anil Kumar Singh for taking the lead and organizing these things all beautifully well. Thank you very much, friends, for this opportunity to me again. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, sir, for the enlightening words. Now we proceed to the distribution of certificates to the participants. So I request dignitaries to kindly distribute the certificates. Ajit Kumar V. Akshay Baba Saheb Tawale. Mic. Arushi Jain. Athira Anil. Ayushi Singh. Bhadragiri Hima Bindu. Boddu Anuradha. Chinmay Oshimat. Harshita Singh. Kailash Patel. Khushbu Kumari. Mohit Agrawal. मुनमुन कोठारी, मुस्कान गांधी, नीलम रेवकर, नेहा राठौर, निगम्बम सना सिंह, निमेश भूषण CN, निशा चौहान, kindly clap for the participants, please. Miss Parul, Priyam Seni, Pooja De, ऋषिकेश संजय माने, साक्षी तोमर, सेजल बत्रा, शिवाली शर्मा, शुभम कुमार, सिंधु डी, सोलंकी अमोल प्रहलाद राव, सोविक चंदोगी, सुजाता यादव, तनुश्री दास, यामिनी चौधरी, Thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. At this point, it's time to listen our guide and well-wisher whose dedication and leadership as the Director General ICR was left an indelible mark on the country. It is our honor to invite our chief guest, Dr. T. Mahapatra sir, Chairman PPVFRA, to address the gathering.
Thank you very much. Very good afternoon to everybody present here. Dr. A.K. Singh, former Director and Vice Chancellor of prestigious Indian Agriculture Research Institute. Dr. K.C. Bansal, former Director NBPGR. Dr. Anuradha, Program Coordinator at the National Coordinator at the Indian Council of Agriculture Research. Dr. Vishwanathan, Joint Director Research, IRI. Dr. R.C. Bhattacharya, Director of NIPB. All the colleagues from NIPB who are present here, and also colleagues from IRI, Physiology Division, who participated in this program as coordinators, and faculties. All the dignitaries who are present, and finally all the trainee students who have come from various places, from 21 states as it was presented, to attend this program. It is already late and we are supposed to finish at 12:45. It is almost 12:45, so we'll be late. I will not take more time, and a lot of things have been spoken. And this particular center, we were here for almost 20 years for me as a teacher, and initially as a student for 4 years to learn fundamentals of molecular biology, and then subsequently as a researcher teacher. So obviously you get nostalgic when you visit your alma mater, and you get emotional when you see and meet people and go back in time, and that refreshes your memory and tells you many things. This very hall, once I described how difficult it was to make it functional as an auditorium. It took a lot of efforts and energy. I was in charge of the building, so a lot of issues. So putting these things in place and then keep it running. So it was tough. So likewise, every nook and corner of the center you go, so you will have something to say and something to remember. So that's the kind of involvement and attachment. So you build over a period of 25 years, initially as student and subsequently as a faculty, as a researcher. And today, my young colleagues have come to participate in this particular training program on genome editing under the umbrella of NAHEP CAAST. Everything has been spoken, it has been explained. With great difficulty, we could revive this project and then brought it alive, I would say, from the jaws of the death. It was already in the deathbed, in the cold storage for a pretty long time. So we revived and then argued forcefully in finance, Ministry of Finance, that how important it is. Very difficult to convince that a program which is relevant to Indian agriculture by way of strengthening education. So difficult to convince, but finally we succeeded. And today we have thousands getting trained, we have people getting exposed, newer areas are getting a firm footing to flourish in years to come. And I would not, as I said, I will not give you a long lecture, but let me say a few very specific points. How do you expect a particular area to flourish? Certainly you need human resource. So it is often said, and Dr. R.S. Baroda, the former Director General of ICAR, keeps mentioning this, that he once interacted with Dr. Norman Borlaug, the Nobel laureate. The question was that you put in efforts here in India, brought the material, the semi-dwarf material, high-yielding material in wheat, and India succeeded, the South Asia succeeded, and we had grain revolution, more so in India. Of course, there were many answers, but the very specific answer was that India succeeded, but not other countries, particularly in Africa. Africa also he put in a lot of efforts. Africa didn't succeed, but India succeeded because of institutions like IRI and also some of the universities those days. India succeeded because of people like M.S. Swaminathan and others, of course. And India succeeded because of political will. India succeeded because of the policies which are required to be in place, they were put in place for irrigation, for fertilizer, for a whole lot of things. So it didn't happen just like that. So anything to happen must have a coordinated effort, and that didn't happen in Africa, and that's the reason why grain revolution didn't happen. And still Africa is struggling even today to have self-sufficiency of food grains in many countries of Africa. So despite the all global efforts, so that hasn't happened. So friends, newer tools and technologies keep coming. When we were struggling to have molecular breeding to have farm footing in this country, Dr. Bansal was mentioning, that we didn't know how to really get DNA isolated from various species. I remember colleagues from various institutions, universities coming to get the DNA isolated from their samples because they didn't succeed. So those are the days in the early 90s, in fact, late 80s and early 90s. And forget about moving forward in molecular biology. Without DNA, you can't do that. You couldn't do anything those days. So today, and we could, do this, not only putting your head down, putting your foot down to build technique and technology and building human resource simultaneously to carry it forward, but also having people to carry this forward without getting diverted, without getting allured by newer developments. And that is the major problem and issue today. So I worked for 20 years on that particular aspect. And thanks to Dr. A.K. Singh, he was praising and telling about me, but thanks to him, continued working from mid-90s to till date to apply the molecular breeding technology to rice, to develop new varieties of rice. And we today have maybe around 100 varieties as per record. When I built that document, around 85, 86 were there. So now 2 years before I'm talking about. In this intervening 2 years, there would be another 10, 15 varieties. That's what I assume. So it could be around 100 varieties we have developed. Starting from, say, 1990, if you say, I started in 1987, 88. And if you say, in these intervening years of 36 years, we have been able to develop 100 varieties only, and not many crops, not more than 10 crops. Majority of them have come only in rice. You don't have many people working on that. We have moved to genomics. We have moved to many other more alluring areas. We need people to work, focus. So mutation was mentioned. And in 1950s, 60s, they were very attractive. Induced mutations were generated in many different crops. I'll not go to those. And varieties were developed. And we revisited that in 2001 or 2 and built a program. And then now we have several mutants, including the herbicide tolerant, which Dr. A.K. Singh has used to develop some varieties. I released them. So what I'm telling, unless you have that kind of focused, concentrated approach, we'll go nowhere. So today, you are getting trained, and after 5 years or 2 years after your degree, you move on to something else, and there's nothing. There's a big vacuum. So the message is that focus, concentrate, and dedicate yourself to something which you have learned and you strongly believe in. And if you feel that this is the area which is going to contribute, and focus on that, work for 5, 10 years at least, and deliver something substantially good. Technologies are good, genomics. So everything is good, attractive, fascinating, more so for the young minds. But don't forget it, don't dump it. Don't move to greener pastures. Something else has come and you just keep jumping and then move on and forget that which was you thought 10 years ago and 5 years ago or 2 years ago. Very important. So focus on that. So this is what is the message I would like to give you. Bandwagons are not there to be just throw you in and get out within no time, but persist, see that something substantial happens. So otherwise bandwagons would come and go, and then all this would be forgotten as a technology. Tomorrow there will be something else. I'm sure there will be something else. Whether we innovate or not, globally people are innovating. So this is one message. But the second one is very, very important. Dr. Bansal said, Dr. A.K. Singh said that gene editing is important. We must do this for product. But more important is what was mentioned is building our own IP. How do you build our own IP? Unless we are innovative. Kutub might have presented something that he has a patent now and all that. But I think we need much more. And your innovative minds, the ignited minds, the inspired minds must delve deeper into it to explore the unexplored. Why we can't do this? Not just go by technique which you have learned and then keep doing something, but a lot more to do. So, focusing on that and keep innovating, re-innovating and getting something new so that you invent something and patent something on your own, and so that we don't have these problems and we have our own IP. So this is one thing I keep emphasizing in everywhere I go. And so this is what we must be focusing on. The third one, which is equally important, I was discussing with Dr. Viswanathan, that gene editing doesn't work in isolation. Many crops we want gene edited products, but without regeneration protocol it will not work. Regeneration protocol is no more attractive. We started in 60s and 70s, starting with anther culture, pollen culture, generating haploids and double haploids and publishing in Nature, Dr. Sipra Guha Mukherjee's work, and where we are. So we have several crop species where regeneration is still a serious issue. Many recalcitrant species are still there, where the frequency is so low. So this is another area where it looks unattractive, but it's so important. Of course, you can have methods where you don't require regeneration, whole plant and some tissue, something to use, and then there are issues and concerns there, but still one can try. The last point I would like to mention in relation to this is, how do you use artificial intelligence in this whole scheme of things? What we are doing in gene editing, we know some genes, we know certain mutations, and their significance evolutionarily because they have been important in the past. Those mutation sites were known in the past. We are not doing anything new. So we are going to those sites which are already known, and we are trying to recreate that in our own variety. Some QTLs which were known, some genes which were known. Dr. Viswanathan mentioned about DST, the drought and salt tolerant mutant, EMS induced mutant again, which was a clone. And that site was known. And you can tinker here and there nearby sites, and then that's all. But discovering newer sites of mutation, which might be far more effective, efficient than what is available in nature. Nature might not have encountered that kind of mutation, spontaneous mutation, what Dr. A.K. Singh was talking about. So can we use artificial intelligence to tell you what could be a better site for mutation from evolutionary point of view, which would give you a better phenotype than what is already existing or what nature has already given you? In terms of salt tolerance, in terms of drought tolerance, in terms of yield, or what combination of mutations in 2 or 3 genes related to yield would give you better performance than, or synergistic performance with regard to yield or drought tolerance. Probably in our own understanding of 2-3 genes, and we see, I have seen that when I was at CRRI as director, I gave this problem to a student, and you put 3 or 4 genes together which are influencing yield, not each one of them are working in synergistic fashion. There could be negative interactions happening among them in quantitative traits. So identifying 5 genes which should be interacting positively, that too identifying sites of mutation which would be leading to positive interaction and enhancing the trait performance. Probably AI would be helping us in this regard. I need to really think about it, and young minds should put in their efforts to build this aspect, which is very, very at a very early stage of development globally. There are some examples emerging, and I believe a lot more to do. And, we are trying to modify the cultivated, the varieties which are already released. But there are some examples to modify the wild. Few genes in tomato, if you modify, you bring in the adaptiveness of tomato, along with the yield and then the agronomic traits. So you can't mutate 50 traits at a time, but good backgrounds are important. So choosing that, and a lot of challenges when we were discussing this in meetings at a very high level. Emphasis was, can you really build platform, use this platform to have mutants, the gene edited products in pulses and oilseeds, where we are deficient. And quickly, not waiting 10 years, 20 years, quickly. IP is one aspect which Dr. A.K. Singh mentioned, but actually identifying the gene. We don't have many genes known which can give us the right kind of products in this kind of crops. Clavata was one which was tried in Arabidopsis. If you have those examples, you have read those. And maybe few other genes, but not many. And how do they work in a polyploid system? And how many copies to really target in sugarcane, for instance? And how do you manage highly polyploid species? There are some examples, but there are many challenges. So I believe when you frame your research programs, you should be able to really, those critical aspects should be really going into your thinking process to succeed. And the faculty should also be building that kind of thought process here. When we work, so when we planned molecular breeding, globally 1 or 2 papers in 86 were published. The first papers were published in, molecular markers. When we were building our programs as students, we read those papers. When I presented the first paper, it's a seminar, student seminar on QTL mapping, I was questioned. The then, teacher in quantitative genetics questioned that whether it is going to work, because QTLs were thought to be, statistical entities, the abstract entities. But molecular markers said that they can be mapped. And those days, I used isozyme markers to say that QTLs can be mapped. But that was questioned. Our teachers were questioning those and raising, doubts whether they will be useful. But today, we have many cloned QTLs. They are just genes like anything else, any other gene. But the way they express, the way they interact is entirely different. So, how do you build a new kind of area yourself as a student? Can you think about something new? Otherwise, you will be dwelling on those old aspects or something which is already given. So nothing new to trade, nothing new to lead. So I believe that the students of today have to be much better than the teachers of the today. I give these statements in every class, and Ramcharan would remember. And Europe's all co-coordinators have attended my classes. So they would remember this. And if students of today are no better than the teachers, we are going nowhere. So I strongly believe that you are all much better than the teachers of today who have taken classes. And I hope, and with this hope I will end, that you being bright and being brighter than the teachers of today, we will have a brighter future. And we will have many new things coming. And I would also urge the faculty, unless you innovate and bring something new, what to sow? We are sowing, those days we used to sow phytotron facility. Now we are sowing phenomics facility. So, Dr. Vishwanathan knows, he came from outside, and we went to, I made a concept note that how phenomics can be done in this country. So before preparing the whole project, so I requested him to give his input on the project. So we took several almost a year to build that project. So how do you build and crystallize new ideas and build new programs for tomorrow? Mention was made about gene editing. When we planned in 2017, there was nothing. Today Corteva and yesterday it was DuPont. And DuPont was ready to give the whole thing free. The IP today we are bothering about. We are almost going to have a MOU with DuPont. The project which Viswanathan mentioned, we prepared that project, and DuPont was to be partner along with ICRISAT, and we are all to, and IRI, we are all to work together to build that in different crops. And we dropped other crops, we focused on rice only. So there are many issues which were resolved, and today we are going to have some products quickly. But so we need to really work on, build on to new ideas. So genomics is another example. I'll not go into that. Already it is late, 1 o'clock, 1:10. So I believe I'll urge my colleagues, old colleagues, and of course, that everything remains green, our relationships. So I'm sure. So younger colleagues being here, there will be newer ideas and avenues explored to get newer programs in years to come, Dr. Bhattacharya. So have brainstorming among yourself and to build new platforms. And what is that global development happening and getting initiated where we must really partner and NIPB can take leadership. For instance, genomics. When we planned the Rice Genome Project, there was nothing. There was nothing in the country. We were the leaders. And the genomics, now see where it is. How many genome sequenced and how many things discovered and what all happened. It's all a kind of revolution. So likewise, so I believe the young mind should really be able to lead us to give something new. With this hope, and I stop here. And thank you very much, Dr. Ramcharan, for inviting me. And it is always a pleasure to be here, and always a pleasure to interact and see the young faces, their bright eyes and smiles in their face, and the promises those smiles sow, and that is something encouraging. And wish you all the very best. And thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring and thought-provoking address. And definitely we'll incorporate your suggestions into our upcoming research. Now we move on to the felicitation of our distinguished guest. So we'll begin by honoring our chief guest, Dr. T. Mahapatra, sir. For this, I request Director NIPB to present the token of love. We are excited to felicitate our valedictory speaker, Dr. K.C. Bansal, sir, former Director, ICR and VPGR. I request Joint Director, ICR, IRI, Dr. Vishwanathan, sir, to present the token of love. We are honored to felicitate Dr. A.K. Singh, sir, former director and vice chancellor ICR IRI. For this, I request Dr. R.C. Bhattacharya, sir, to kindly felicitate. Now, turning our attention to the heartfelt felicitation to Dr. Anuradha Agrawal, ma'am, National Coordinator Caste NAHEP. I request Dr. Vishwanathan, sir, to kindly felicitate Dr. Agrawal, ma'am. Let us extend our heartfelt gratitude and applause to all our honored guests for their unwavering support and significant contribution to the field of agricultural research and biotechnology. To express the gratitude to all those who made this event possible, I would like to invite Dr. Anshul Vatt, sir, course co-coordinator and scientist ICR and IPB, for the formal vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, all of you. I am honored and privileged to have the opportunity to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of ICR NIPB. This NAHEP CAST training program has been a great success, and it would not have been possible without the support, dedication and hard work of many individuals. But before proceeding the vote of thanks, I just remind one incident, since Dr. Bansal is here, that my MSc incidents during the MSc submission days, one of my batchmate has written in his thesis acknowledgement that I would like to thank my bicycle, that due to my bicycle I went here and there. And Dr. Bansal has called all our batchmate to tell what to write in acknowledgement, and there is the importance of expressing vote of thanks. So, sir, I remember that incident and I have tried my best to prepare vote of thanks today. So, first and foremost, I extend my sincere gratitude to our chief guest, Dr. T. Mahapatra, sir, chairman of PPV FRA New Delhi and former secretary DARE and DG ICR, for sparing his valuable time for this valedictory function and sharing his experience to guide the students. I also thanks Dr. K.C. Bansal, former director NBPGR, who delivered this morning an exciting lecture. Dr. A.K. Singh, former director IRI, for sharing his thoughts on genome editing and its application. Dr. Anuradha Agarwal, NAHEP national coordinator, under whose guidance all these NAHEP training programs were conducted. So all of your presence and insightful words have inspired and motivated us. We are truly grateful for the time you took out of your busy schedule to be here with us. I would also like to thank NAHEP CAST for providing funding for this training program. My heartfelt thanks go to course director Dr. Vishnathan Chinnaswamy, Joint Director Research IRI, Dr. R.C. Bhattacharya, Director NIPB, for designing this course, outlining the program and guiding us through every detail. A special thanks to Dr. Anil Singh sir, the course coordinator, who managed all aspects of this training. And he is the person who stay from morning to evening with the students and spending the time. So last 2 weeks he is completely here. So special thanks to Anil sir. So I also thanks coordinator Dr. Pranjal Yadav, co-coordinator Dr. Sandhya, Dr. Archana, Dr. Shivani, Dr. Soham, for their significant role in conducting this program. I extend my gratitude to Director IRI, Director ISRI, for providing guest house for the trainees during the training program, and to the Project Director WTC for providing the transportation. Special thanks to Dr. Vishnathan sir for accommodating some of the practical session in the Discovery Center of IRI. I extend my special thanks to Dr. T.R. Sharma, DDG Crop Science, and Dr. R.C. Agarwal, National Director NAHEP and DDG Agriculture Education for their presence at the inauguration of this training program. I am also grateful to the admin staff of NIPB and Division of Plant Physiology for managing various administrative matters. To all the faculty of ICR NIPB involved in various theory and practical classes, and to all the resource person who delivered lecture either through the online mode or offline mode, thank you for your valuable contribution. I also appreciate our lab students and research fellow who helped in conducting various practical classes. So thank you to Dr. Ashish Gupta, Chairman of the Auditorium Committee, for arranging the auditorium during this training program. To our participants, so thank you for your support and understanding, especially given that the guest house facility were not up to the mark. Your cooperation and adaptability have been greatly appreciated. And I also like to thank our online participants so who actively engaged in this training program. A special thanks to Mr. Akbar, Himanshu, Ajay, Sonali, and Himani for providing the background support necessary for conducting this training program. So lastly, I would like to share two things which Dr. Mahapatra used to tell us at the end of his course EMG and molecular genetics. Firstly, he would say, read more. So after every topic and every course, he used to say, read more. So whatever topic like you have learned here in last 2 weeks, continue to read and deepen your understanding. Secondly, he tell in his lecture, and he always tell us that next generation should be better than the previous generation, and this is a true measure of the progress. So take what you have learned, seek deeper knowledge, and strive to outperform your mentor, ensuring continuous improvement and growth for the future. So finally, if I have missed mentioning anyone, I sincerely apologize. Once again, thank you all for being a part of this valedictory function. Let us carry forward the learning and insight we have gained today and continue to strive for excellence in our future endeavor. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, sir. As we draw this program to a close, I would like to thank each and every one of you for your participation and enthusiasm throughout the training. We hope the knowledge and skill acquired during this training program will significantly contribute your work and research in genome editing for the crop improvement. Once again, a heartfelt thanks to everyone. Finally, I would like to invite everyone to join us for a group photograph outside in front of the banner, and afterward, please proceed to the hall for a high tea. Participants, attention please. We understand many of you have to early departure and busy schedule. Therefore, I kindly request all of you to proceed directly for the lunch. Thank you everyone. Namaste.
Recording stopped.